BRYAN KOHBERGER waived extradition in Pennsylvania and is headed back to Idaho. We have more developments, more information on this case. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you have not already. We will be following all developments as they become available.
We did call Monroe County Correctional over in Pennsylvania. Again, they confirmed that BRYAN KOHBERGER is now in Pennsylvania State Police custody. We're still working to figure out exactly what time that transfer of custody happened. This movement, though, happening less than 24 hours after courts confirmed the extradition process to be started to get KOHBERGER from Pennsylvania back here to North Idaho. What we know right now is that could be as early as this morning, or he could get here as late as next Friday. We are here at Latah County Jail here in Moscow. We are keeping an eye here on the area as we wait for this to happen. Yesterday, the murder suspect was in Pennsylvania court. The courtroom did not allow cameras inside, but we know he was in the room for about 20 minutes. He waived his right to an extradition hearing, meaning that he just accepted that extradition back here to Idaho. Here's video of deputies escorting him out of the courthouse after his appearance. Now they have 10 days to get the suspect the 2,500 miles from Pennsylvania to here in Idaho. We are also keeping an eye on the jail roster here at Latah County Jail online. At this point, the suspect's name and information is not in that system. In Moscow, Nicole Hernandez, Crime 2 News.
Nicole Hernandez with those breaking details. Thank you. Well, since the quadruple homicide, the victims' families, community, and nation have been waiting to know what happened in the early hours of November 13th. But late yesterday afternoon, Crime 2 learned we are not going to be getting any of those answers from anyone involved with the case. So Moscow police announcing they are no longer allowed to share any information about the investigation because of a judge's order. In that order, it also limits investigators, law enforcement, and attorneys from talking about information in the case that is not public record. This is called a non-dissemination order, and according to documents obtained by Crime 2, it will be in place until a verdict is reached.
Now, we also heard from the Pennsylvania State Police for the first time since KOHBERGER's arrest. Following the extradition hearing, we finally got some answers. Jack Culkin from our Pennsylvania station has more on how investigators were able to find KOHBERGER.
BRYAN KOHBERGER, the man accused of killing 4 students from the University of Idaho, will leave Pennsylvania sometime in the next 10 days. He showed up in person to a hearing at the Monroe County Courthouse, where he agreed to be taken back to Idaho.
Arrangements currently are being made to deliver KOHBERGER back to Idaho, where he can have continued due process and face these charges.
In a news conference following KOHBERGER's extradition hearing, state police and the Monroe County District Attorney's Office finally answered some questions relating to KOHBERGER's arrest this past Friday in Chestnut Hill Township.
There was ample probable cause for the issuance of the various warrants in the case. I was surprised, really, Monroe County of all places. It hits close to home.
State police said that they became involved in the investigation after they were contacted by the FBI, but they would not say exactly when they were contacted. They obtained several search warrants before arresting KOHBERGER in the early morning hours of Friday, December 30th, at his home in the Indian Mountain Lake Estates development.
One was for the person of Mr. KOHBERGER, one was for the white Elantra vehicle, and one was for the address, the residence itself that he was living in.
Mr. KOHBERGER was taken into custody without incident. The scene was turned over to the FBI Evidence Response Team for processing.
State police would not say exactly when they became involved in the case. The DA's office got involved sometime after that.
My office's role was relatively recent. We weren't advised of the presence of the defendant in our county until only a couple days before the apprehension of the defendant.
Jack Culkin, Newswatch 16, Monroe County.
So we also obtained new police body camera video connecting the suspect to that white Hyundai Elantra police said they were looking for last month.
So in this video, you can actually see the trooper pulling up and approaching the car here. This happened in Indiana again, and troopers say they stopped the car for following too closely. For just a second, you're about to see BRYAN KOHBERGER right there. He's there in that driver's seat. Now, we are keeping the passenger anonymous at this time, but what is important to note is the date on the video. That's December 15th. That's just 8 days after the Moscow Police Department started asking the public for information about a white Hyundai Elantra. Now, this new body camera footage is the second time that law enforcement pulled KOHBERGER over.
Yeah, actually, on that same day, a deputy from the Hancock County Sheriff's Department stopped him as well. Indiana State Police say the trooper didn't have the information on KOHBERGER at the time or the license plate number of the car Idaho detectives were looking for. In the body camera footage, we can see the license plate number of the car KOHBERGER was driving.
Since the tag was visible, the tag number on the Elantra was visible. People started digging and looking it up in the online database. They uncovered where the plates were originally registered in Pennsylvania, but then got switched and changed to Washington on November the 18th, which was 5 days after the murder of those 4 Idaho students. Agents did say that upon arresting Bryan at his home last Friday, December 30th, the first thing he asked was, anybody else arrested? That leads people to speculate, was somebody else involved in this? He has remained his innocence. He has said that he is not guilty. His attorney states, and his thoughts remain, that his client is innocent and can't wait to get back to Idaho to presume his innocence. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments below. Like I said, I will be posting updates as they become available, so be sure you are subscribed to this channel. I think I can speak for a lot of us when I say most of us out there are on the edge of our seats. We're on pins and needles to figure out what kind of evidence they have. What kind of motive? Anything. And I'm sure once he gets to Idaho, we will learn more. Like I said, I will have updates here on this channel, CrimeLine, so stay locked and loaded.